Nothing changes without you. That's the line that keeps echoing in my head every single day. Because for years, I kept waiting for something, someone, some miracle to drag me out of my own mess. But nothing came. No one came. The truth hit me like a punch in the chest. No one's coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not even fate. And it's crazy how we convince ourselves that time will fix things, that somehow, someday, everything will just fall into place. But time doesn't heal laziness. Time doesn't erase regret. Time only exposes what you've been avoiding. Every day you wake up and repeat the same patterns, you're signing a silent contract with your own failure. You say you want to change, but then you snooze the alarm. You say you want to be successful, but then you scroll for hours. You say you want to be different, but then you do exactly what everyone else is doing. And here's the truth. Nothing changes until you do. Because every result in your life right now, your money, your body, your mindset, your happiness, it's all a reflection of one person, you. It's not luck, it's not your past, it's not your circumstances, it's you. You want a different life? Then you have to become a different person. And that's the part most people will never do. Because it's not glamorous, it's not instant, and it sure as hell isn't easy. But I realized one thing. The pain of staying the same will always hurt more than the pain of change. I used to tell myself, maybe next week I'll start. But next week turned into next month turned into next year, and before I knew it, my dreams were collecting dust while my excuses kept me comfortable. Comfort is the silent killer. It doesn't scream, it doesn't chase, it just whispers, "You're fine." And that whisper, that quiet lie, has destroyed more dreams than failure ever will. So if you're sitting there right now thinking, "I'll start someday," you're already losing. Because every second you waste waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is out there creating it. There's one thing I started doing every morning, called the mirror test. I stand there, look myself in the eyes, and ask one question. Are you proud of who you are right now? Most days the answer used to be no, because deep down I knew I was lying to myself. I was pretending to be trying, pretending to care, pretending to be on the right path. But there's something terrifying about honesty. It exposes you. It strips away the lies and forces you to face the person you've become. And for me, that person wasn't disciplined. He wasn't hungry. He wasn't relentless. He was average. Average dreams, average work ethic, average life. And you can't build an extraordinary life with average effort. That mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't care about your excuses, your childhood, your past, or your pain. It only reflects truth. And if you can't face it, you'll never fix it. See, we love to blame. We blame our circumstances, our environment, our luck. But blaming is just another form of hiding. It keeps you safe, because if it's not your fault, then you don't have to change. But I stopped hiding because I realized every excuse I made was just me protecting my own weakness. And I got sick of it. I got sick of my own story. Sick of saying someday. Sick of watching people who started after me pass me by because they did the work I refused to do. There's a difference between wanting success and being willing to earn it. Everyone wants it. Few are willing to bleed for it. And I decided, if I'm gonna suffer anyway, I might as well suffer for something that matters. Excuses are heavy. They weigh you down slowly, one small lie at a time. You tell yourself, I'm tired today. Then I'll do it tomorrow. Then I'll do it someday. Then it's too late now. And before you know it, those excuses turn into your identity. You start believing that this version of you is permanent, that you're not meant to do something great, that maybe success just isn't for you. That's the biggest lie of them all. Because success doesn't pick favorites. It picks the consistent. It rewards the ones who show up when they don't feel like it. It crowns the ones who refuse to quit even when no one's watching. And let's be honest, it's easy to grind when life's going well. It's easy to stay motivated when you're winning. But the real test comes when everything's falling apart, when nothing's working, when no one believes in you. That's when character is built. Pressure doesn't break you. It shows you who you really are. And I realized every time I blamed something else, I was giving away my power. Excuses don't pay bills. They don't build legacy. They don't change your future. Only effort does. Only obsession does. Only hunger does. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you're willing to fight for when it's uncomfortable. I learned that discipline isn't about motivation. It's about making a decision that your feelings no longer control your your life. Because if you only work when it feels right, you'll never be great. You'll be average forever. There comes a day when everything inside you erupts. When you wake up and realize you've been living on autopilot, repeating the same patterns, accepting the same mediocrity, wasting your potential like it means nothing. That day came for me when I hit rock bottom. I looked around and saw the life I'd built, or rather, the life I'd tolerated. Nothing was how I wanted it to be. Not my mindset, not my discipline, not my results. And the worst part, I had no one to blame. It wasn't the world's fault, it was mine. And I finally accepted it. That realization burned. It ripped me apart from the inside. But that pain, that brutal honesty, became the most powerful thing in my life. Because once you stop lying to yourself, you become unstoppable. Once you admit that you are the reason your life looks the way it does, you unlock a kind of power that can't be taken away. I remember standing in my room that night. No sound, no music, just silence. And I said to myself, this ends tonight. No more excuses, no more half effort, no more pretending. I made a decision that I was done living like everyone else. I was done being average. And from that moment, I promised myself I'll either make it happen or die trying. But quitting, never. That's when things started to shift. Not because the world suddenly helped, not because life got easier, but because I changed the way I saw myself. I stopped waiting for motivation. I started creating discipline. I stopped chasing comfort. I started chasing growth. And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't glamorous. It was lonely. It was painful. But every step forward, every small victory built something inside me that no one could ever give me. Respect for myself. You can't buy that. You earn it through war. The hardest battles are not fought in public. They're fought in silence. They happen in your mind when no one's watching. That moment when you want to quit, that's the war within. That's when your weaker self whispers, just stop, take a break, no one will notice. And every time you listen, you lose a piece of yourself. Because this battle, it's not about the world. It's about who you're willing to become when it hurts. There were nights I couldn't sleep, days when my body ached, moments when I questioned everything. Is this even worth it? Why am I doing this? But here's what I learned. The moment you stop asking why it's so hard and start asking what it's making you into, that's when everything changes. Pain is not your enemy, it's your instructor. Every challenge is a test. How bad do you want it? How much can you endure? How many times will you rise after you fall? I started to see every struggle as a chance to harden my mind. Every failure was fuel. Every rejection was redirection. And while everyone else was chasing comfort, I was chasing pain, because pain meant progress. The version of me I wanted to become. He wasn't waiting in my comfort zone. He was on the other side of fear, exhaustion, and self-doubt. And when I realized that, quitting stopped being an option. Because once you see what you're capable of when you refuse to quit, you'll never go back. The world doesn't reward the talented. It rewards the consistent. It rewards the ones who get up when it doesn't make sense to. The ones who work in silence. The ones who refuse to die ordinary. You can't fake hunger. You can't fake obsession. Either it's in you or it's not. And if it's not, you better build it. Because that hunger is the only thing that separates the dreamers from the doers. One day, you're gonna look back at your life, and the only question that will matter is, did you give it everything? Not did you have the best gear, not did you get lucky, but did you show up when no one believed in you? Because life doesn't remember the ones who tried, it remembers the ones who refused to stop. Every scar you earn tells a story of persistence. Every failure you survive sharpens your edge, and every time you rise again, you prove that your spirit can't be broken. That's what legacy is. It's not about money, it's not about fame, it's about impact. The kind that echoes long after you're gone. And that starts with one decision: to stop waiting, to stop hoping, to stop saying someday. Because nothing changes without you. If you want the life you dream about, you You have to build it brick by brick, day after day. No matter how tired you are, no matter who doubts you, no matter how long it takes, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the person you could become. So the next time you wake up and that voice in your head says, "Not today," you say, "I'm not stopping." And when the world asks who gave you permission to rise, you tell them, "No one." You don't need permission to become who you were meant to be. You just need a decision, because the truth is simple. Nothing changes without you.
If this message hit you, don't just scroll past it. Change your life. Subscribe to Raw and Relentless, and let's build a generation that refuses to quit.